Yeah, but it's really warm indoors and really cold out here. And I like sitting down and dozing. Alright, do it. We'll edit that bit out. Well, hello there and welcome to the channel. Now, those of you who've seen me before will be aware that I do like to keep an eye on my news feed. And recently I had a lovely piece come through from the legacy media, so well done you, regarding the jobs that you should be completing before the end of January. And you just got to take these things with a pinch of salt, although they've stuck Monte Don's name on the top of it, and most of the information has come from him indeed. It's written by somebody else, and there are some errors that leak into these things when people don't really know what they're talking about. Anyway, we're talking about three groups of plants. We're talking about fruit trees, we're talking about fruit bushes, we're talking about hedging and bleached limes, which is just a hedge on stilts. We're going to go through those, but we're going to be quick because it is flipping freezing cold. So let's start with fruit trees. Can I come in now? According to this article, Monte Don likes to make sure that all of his fruit trees are properly pruned come January, which is no. Not all your fruit trees get pruned in January or cut back or whatever, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you there are two fruit trees that you cut back in January, and these are your apples and these are your pears, and they are treated the same. I don't want to get too involved in the technical side of apple and pear pruning, but I'll give you a quick rundown just so you get a rough idea, and then if you want to find out a bit more you can always research that yourself if you can understand the details of fruit tree pruning, because it's one of the most boring, tedious bits of information I've ever had the misfortune to read. And do you know what, I might be looking at the words but my brain is thinking about other things like kittens and wool and fluffy sheep. But before you pick up your sterilised loppers and secateurs, be aware that the Royal Horticultural Society, my favourite horticultural society, does not recommend winter pruning for your trees, your apple trees, your pear trees, until they are at least mature to about 4 to 5 years old. And if that is the case and you still want to cut them, this is the basics. Right, we'll use this brownie apple tree which is in my garden as an example, and it does give you a good example of how to start pruning a apple tree, and then what goes wrong when you do it wrong later on. So let's go to the centre bit. You'll notice that it is very open, and the reason for that is that it helps to improve light and airflow, which improves fruit set and reduces the incidence of fungal infections. So this is very, very lovely. And then if you look further up, you'll notice that there's been some absolutely awful cuts, bang, and a load of extending growth, bang, a load of extending growth. If I step back, you'll see there has been a load of examples of this. Now luckily this was quite a long time ago, because now these big extending branches kind of finished their journey up, just started to come down a bit, which is far, far better, because all these lateral branches are where you're going to get the majority of your blooms. So this is an issue. If you hard cut an apple tree or most plants in the winter, the harder you cut back, then the more vigorous you get these extending branches. So when you are cutting back apples and pears, you don't cut them back like a complete lunatic and remove half your tree. You cut back no more than between 10 and 20% of the canopy. That way, fingers crossed, hopefully you'll stop this invigorated branches, which you're not going to get any fruit on whatsoever. And also, as you can see this, the tree gets completely misshapen, so you've ruined the ornamental value of your tree as well as stopping it from fruiting. So no, flipping no. Oh, I mean, you do cut, always cut to an outward facing bud, because you don't want to start branch work going back into the centre. You've just made all that work to clear the centre, don't want them going back into the centre. So there you go. That's your apples and that's your pears. And now we're going to talk about apricots, nectarines, cherries, and something else. Plums. Those four fruit trees you never cut in the winter in January or when it's a bit damp, at least here in the UK, and that's because if you cut those plants at that time of the year, you're going to increase the risk dramatically of those plants catching silverleaf and bacterial canker. So here in the UK, you cut these plants during the driest days of the year, so we're basically looking at summer. So not the winter, definitely not the winter. Plums, apricots, nectarines, and God, I can't remember what it is. That is not a January cut. It's not a January cut. That is only hot day summer cut. Don't get confused by people saying, "Oh, you cut these in the summer," and then when it's pouring with rain, you go out and you start cutting it. It's got to be dry. It's got to be hot. It's got to be dry. Low humidity. That is the key for cutting those ones. Plums, nectarines, apricots, cherries. Always one on top. And if you want to know when I go and cut my apple trees and pear trees, no, it's not in January. I mean, what kind of fool would be going out on a frozen ladder in those terrible wet wintry conditions? Because let's be honest with you, climbing up and down trees isn't the safest job in the world. If you want to make it harder by doing it in January, well then more for you. I'm not doing it. I do mine in the autumn. Once the leaves have dropped off from the early frost, then I know the plant is dormant. That's when I do it. The weather's better. I'm happier. I don't have to worry about it. Autumn flora. Autumn. Right, second group. Fruit bushes. We're talking about gooseberries, raspberries, and blackcurrants. Yes, you can cut all those back in January if you want to, but again, it's one of those jobs that I tend to do in the autumn. With regards to your gooseberries in particular, you want to make sure that you create an open centre so you can get good air current through, because there are a lot of gooseberry cultivars that are very prone to botrytis, and good ventilation is key to reducing the incidence of those infections. With regards to all three, they fruit at their best on previous season's wood. So in the autumn, again, I do this job in the autumn, not January, I remove all of that season's finished fruiting stems, and then I leave and retrain all the new growth from that year, because come this year, so now, these will be your fruiting shoots. So yes, you can do that in January. No, I'm not doing that in January because the weather is shocking. Do that in the autumn, or at least after the previous year's fruiting stems have been picked and harvested. I'll take those off and then I'll retrain the new ones. So yes, you can, and no, I don't. So your third and last group are your hedging and your pleach limes. Now these aren't lime trees like citrus limes, these are your Tilia genus of trees. And yes, you can prune these in January. It is absolutely fine. I tend to do my pleach limes again in the autumn. Just be aware that they do tend to hold on to their leaves like beech trees, so you just got to judge it roughly when you think it's dormant, and then cut it then. So that's absolutely fine. Hedging's a little bit different because there's a big range of hedging. You have your evergreen hedging, you have your deciduous hedging, you got coniferous, shrubby. There's a big range. So I would advise you doing a quick check with the RHS and seeing when your particular hedge does need cutting, because January might not be the best for it. Now I understand why January is often used, is because it goes back to what we said about the apple trees. If you've got a weak performing plant, you give it a hard cut back in the winter, then hopefully you get strong extended growth coming through. But if you've got a weak growth in your hedge, rather than start chopping it around, which itself can weaken a plant if you overdo it, try and work out what the issue is that is causing it to grow so weakly. So is it the location? Is it getting enough water? Is it waterlogged? Is it being fed? Has it got a fungal infection? Whatever it is, have a little look first, do your research first. So I wouldn't necessarily cut in the winter. I would usually do a cut after the last flush of growth at the end of the year. So again, for me, autumn, I do a lot of these jobs in the autumn, but yes, you could cut it in January, but to be honest with you, I don't want to cut it without checking when would be the best time and do it that way. Anyway, thanks for watching. You've done very well getting to the end of the video. If there's anything you'd like to add, any great jobs that you like to do in January, well, let us know in the comments, and then those other people who like to read the comments can also find out what you're saying too. But before I go, oh, it's so cold. Don't forget, you can support this channel by clicking like, clicking subscribe, clicking the notification bell. It is all free, and you can unsubscribe or unclick everything at a moment's notice. There's no problem at all. But if you'd like to support this channel, because we do need the support, because then it allows YouTube to get us out there, and check this next clip when it was so much warmer and I didn't mind coming outside in the garden. But there you go. See you in the next video, assuming you're interested in watching another one of these. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description, you can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I've still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.